thank you all for 400 subscribers. And to celebrate this milestone, I'm going to be doing a full collection tour. So a couple days ago, I posted a poll on my community page on what I should do for this milestone, and I think it was something like 90% that voted for a collection tour. And I think the other option was like a massive repotting video, but looks like you guys wanted the tour, so let's get right into the video. Okay, so we're going to start with this table full of nepenthes, then we're going to sort of circle our way around the plants on the ground, have a look at the nepenthes in the tree, and then finally look at my sarracenias. So I think it would be suitable to start with my largest nepenthes. This is Truncata squat cosnebularum from Exotica Plants. It has two large pitchers. This is the first one that's put out in my care after I got it in, I think it was October last year. I will try to make this tour quite brief, so I won't be spending too long on every plant. Okay, right next to it we have a Nepenthes stenophylla. This plant hasn't really been doing that well for me lately, hasn't been producing any pitchers, but I'm hoping that'll start to grow a bit more soon. Here we have my little Nepenthes species area. Here we have a Boschiana from Eat Me Exotics. I might try to link his channel in the description if I remember, or at the end of the video, my end screen. It does have a pitcher forming on it, but it is quite a slow grower. Next to it we have my two Nepenthes veitchii. These are all recent additions to the collection. This veitchii I think I got about 2 weeks ago. It's the gold clone. I got it from Primal Plants. Here we have a Barrio veitchii. This is the BE clone 3734. I got this from Old World Botanicals. They're a very, very good Nepenthes store. They have very nice plants and good prices. This has actually put out a new leaf since I got it last week, which is very exciting. This plant will get very large. Eat Me Exotics has a large specimen of that exact clone. Again, I'll try to link his channel down below. And the most recent addition in the collection, I got it last Tuesday. This is a Nepenthes spectabilis Perkinson's Giant. So this is BE3322, sorry. It does have a couple nice pitches. I'll try to get the plant out without breaking anything. So here's the little picture on it. So with small plants like this, you've got to be really careful to not break anything. Sorry, I wasn't pointing the camera in the right direction. And this picture that I'm moving right now is coming off one of the most vigorous plants in my collection. It was actually free when it came with these two plants from Exotica Plants back in October. It's a Ventricosa cross Sibionensis cross Rocco. That's what the pictures look like when they're open, but it actually has 3 more on the way. So there's that one I was moving, there's one over here, and there's a slightly smaller one over there. So this is, I assume it's going to get very large. I have seen specimens get to the size of, let's say, this picture over here, if not a bit more, so I'm excited for that. It's not quite a Nepenthes, but this is the only pinguicula in my collection because it's the only one I could keep alive. So this is the cross Hawkesbury. It's very easy to grow pinguicula. I would recommend it for the first one. And here we just have a few cuttings. This is a basil off my Ventricosa cross Sibionensis or jungle bells that I'm going to show you later. And this is a cutting off my Ventricosa cross Maxima that I'm also going to show you later. This was one of my first really large Nepenthes, and I think it's about 1.5 meters tall if the vine hasn't curled over. Yes, so if this vine hadn't drooped down, it would probably be about 1.5 meters tall. You can see what I'm talking about there. Here's a Nepenthes truncata. This is the giant clone from Exotica Plants. Very nice pictures. It has put out a monstrous new leaf. Truncata are very slow growing, but I can see a picture swelling up there. Right behind it is my largest truncata. This is the squat form from Exotica Plants. That's also put out a new leaf. Very excited for the picture of that one. Okay, so here we have my favourite Nepenthes. This is one of my 2 Nepenthes laurii cross truncata giants. Exotica grow all their plants from seed, so you can see the variation. This one's more vigorous than the other one, as you can see, because that one has 2 pitches that have both grown in my care, and this one only has a little tendril that's starting to swell up. It did have a pitcher that was sitting in there, but that died off a couple weeks ago. I'll sort of make my way around the side here. I'm trying to make this sort of a methodical order so I don't forget any plants. Here we have my first Nepenthes. It's a Rebecca Soper or Ramospina cross ventricosa. Sorry that it isn't focusing. If I try to do tap focus, then it'll lock the focus and it won't focus on anything else. That's happened a couple times before. But it does have lower pitches as well as upper pitches. So this vine here is actually a basil. You can see the main plant I cut off there, and I've planted it on the other side of the pot, because if you didn't know, the basils grow the larger pitches, so I just cut the main vine to let the basil grow out a bit more. Here's a different plant in the same pot. One of these was my first Nepenthes, and I think the other one was my 3rd or so. I think I got like a ventricosa in between. Right here is possibly going to be my favourite plant once it gets a bit larger. This is a laurii cross veitchii cross boschiana from Exotica Plants. I actually bought this one from Eat Me Exotics, but he sourced it from EP. You can see it's got a pitcher swelling up there. I forgot to show it before, but my Rebecca Soper does have a few swelling up, which is quite exciting. Right next to it is, I think, one of my most healthy plants. It's a Copelandii. It's a species that's very similar to Maxima. Very nice pitches. This is moving to sort of a vining style. You can see the internodes getting a bit further. Okay, so this massive plant, I'm just going to show it now because it's like halfway above the table. This is Maxima Trismartiensis. Does have a couple large pitches. This one's been filled up with rainwater. Might pour some of that out so it doesn't snap. But it has actually got a pitcher here, which is quite nice. This is the plant in my profile picture, actually. It's Veitchii Burbigii. Has a very nice picture right there, but it only holds 1 or 2 at a time. It's quite hard to grow. It was struggling for quite a bit. You can see those sunspots. And, oh, Benny! Hello, Benny! He's come to visit. So in my last video, I showed Benny, and here he is again. Okay, so I might pause the video now to feed him. Okay, so I've given Benny his breakfast. He isn't my cat, but I do feed him because he spends most of the time at my house. So he'll come here at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and then he won't leave until something like 10 o'clock at night. But, okay, so where were we with the tour? I think we were up to my Veitchii Burbigii. So we'll come over this side, and I'll show you my Nepenthes Rocco, which is quite large. This is a lower picture off a basil. It's got a very broad peristome, which is nice. It also has a massive vine, which has this upper picture. There's also another one. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's over here, that picture. Okay, so this is one of my largest Nepenthes in terms of sort of vine size, not pitcher size. It's Ventricosa cross truncata. It often has about 10 pitches at a time. Doesn't have as many right now because they've all started to die off because of the heat. But it does have a flower, which is very exciting. I have put some red leopard pollen on there, which is Maxima cross ventricosa. So I hope that'll make some seed. Here we have a Nepenthes gothica, which is Maxima cross sibionensis. This had some nice pictures, but I believe they've all died off now. I have got another specimen down here of Gothica. There's a nice picture, quite large. I believe this is the Exotica Plants clone. I don't remember where I got it actually, but not directly from EP. Here we have my section of sort of plants that aren't doing that well. Here we have some Ventricosa cuttings, Ventricosa cross maxima cuttings or red leopard, Hookiana, Suki, a couple more red leopard cuttings, which are actually growing. Oh my god, I haven't noticed this. It's a double leaf. That's never happened before. I believe this happens when the plants are under stress. That's so funny. Look at how unusual that is. Anyway, so here we have Singolana cross Ventricosa or Bill Bailey and Ventricosa cross Ampullaria. In here, sort of squished between the two massive pots, is a Ventricosa. It's got a nice picture on the basil there, but I don't think it has any on the vine. It was flowering, and the seeds are right here. So the male pollen was from a St. Pacificus, which is over there, which is Ventricosa cross Insignis. So the Ventricosa was the female, so this is technically Ventricosa cross Insignis. I'll try to get this open, but it's very hard with one hand. I failed last time, and I think it was 2 videos ago when I was doing a walkthrough. Oh no, I think this time I've actually got it. There we go. So the seeds haven't done anything yet, but the sphagnum moss has. It's definitely growing. I've got another massive pot of them here. I've poked some holes so they don't suffocate. Not sure if that can actually happen, but it can never be too safe. Okay, over here we have one of my largest Nepenthes again. I'm probably going to say everything is my largest Nepenthes, but this one is actually one of them. It's Rocco Exotica cross Boschiana cross Truncata. It has many large pitches, but some of them are hard to reach, like this one, for example. Very nice flared peristome. But I did actually snap it over there when I was trying to get it out last time, so I won't touch it. So this is a more accessible picture. It's got some ants on it, actually. Don't want to get stung by them. But very nice striped peristome. This one flowered at the same time as my Ventricosa. I pollinated it on the same day, and it's done basically nothing, which is pretty ridiculous compared... Well, I guess it is a more complex hybrid, and Ventricosa's really easy to grow. Well, it looks like Benny's finished his food, and I'm going to have to turn around to pat him quite often, because what he'll do is he'll rub against my legs, and if I don't pat him within about 5 seconds, he'll try to bite me. So he is a bit of a gangster, as one of you guys commented. But hopefully he'll go over and sleep on the barbecue like he usually does. Or he'll just sit down. So I think that's all of them on the table. Oh, no, I forgot one. Forgot my Thrillii. Just here. Has some nice little pitches. Started growing pretty well for me lately. Oh, there's another picture on my Maxima Crostris Martiensis. Pretty nice. Okay, so now we'll move on to the plants under the table. Okay. Oh, Benny, you haven't even finished your food. Come on. Finish your biscuits. Eh? Okay, so we'll start right here. This is another St. Pacificus, not the one I took the pollen off. Has nice picture back there, but has some dirt in it for some reason. Here's an Alardii. This was one of my first Nepenthes. If you have a look at my link tree, which is in my About page, I have links to all my old videos. They're from 2018. They're kind of embarrassing. And one of them was me showcasing this plant and a few others after I'd unboxed them from Australian Orchid Nursery. And the videos were so terrible, I just keep repeating the same things. So I'd say something like, oh, if you want to buy this plant, you go to shop by type, and then you click shop by type, and you can shop by type. So it's pretty ridiculous, but hopefully I'm better at recording videos nowadays. So it has a few nice pictures. That's a very large basil, and the main vine has a nice upper. This plant has produced larger pitchers in the past, but I think it's starting to properly vine and I can start taking cuttings soon. Here's a Ventricosa cross Carsiana or cross Amarine. Downstairs I actually have some pure Carsiana seeds. I won't be able to show them because I don't really want to go downstairs now. But yeah, I do have some pure Carsiana seeds going. I think one of them has 2 pitchers already. Hi Benny. What are you doing, eh? Following me around. Okay, so here is a Ventricosa cross Sibionensis or jungle bells that I was talking about earlier. This is the basil off it. What are you doing? Anyway, here, I remember I used to forget this plant all the time while I was doing update videos. But this is a Veitchii cross Boschiana. So a very similar hybrid to this one, the Veitchii cross Berbigiae. But this one's a bit more elongated and it's more orange. So this one should also get pretty large. Here's the base of my Maxima cross Trismardiensis. The basil is actually starting to get some size. And all through there I just have some miscellaneous cuttings. I believe that's Ventrata. Then back there I have some Ventricosa cuttings and some Ventricosa cross Maxima cuttings. That large one there is a basil off my Ventricosa cross Truncata. Here's my Ventricosa cross Maxima or red leopard. Has a few growth points on it actually. Here's a nice lower picture. These actually get quite large. I don't think it actually has any uppers right now that are looking good. Oh no, it has one there. Yeah, well, the lid's starting to die off, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's all the plants in this table area. And now we can move on to the Nepenthes in the tree. So I should have walked that way because I'm going to start on this side. This is a Maxima Dark. It's just put out a new picture there. Very nice. This plant has started doing really well recently. It used to be sitting here and it got really sunburnt. Here's an Nepenthes Miranda. This is very nice. I have a large one over there which I'm going to show next. Well, not really next because here is my Ventricosa cross Lowii cross Gothica. This plant's very consistent with its growth and it even has a little basil on the way, so again one of my favorites. And here is the Miranda I was talking about. So I'll just try to get this picture out safely so I can show it to you. And there is my Nepenthes Miranda. So you can really see how large they get. Just look at the leaf span of this thing, it's ridiculous. So we'll start at the top. This is Ventricosa cross Jacquelineae. There's a small picture of the basil and a slightly larger one there. Has one on the way that's hanging down. Here's Ventrata. It's a very consistent grower and I've just noticed new picture on the basil of my Ventricosa cross Jacquelineae. Over here we have a pure Alata. Has a new picture on the way here. Very fuzzy tendril actually. Quite unusual for Alata. Here we have a Maxima. This isn't the dark form. It's just the typical form, I believe. Some nice pictures there. Behind it we have one of the most difficult plants to grow. It's my Truncata cross Edwardsiana from Exotica Plants. You can see there's some weird brown spots on the leaves. It's not doing that well. But that picture is the first in my care since I got it, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, actually. Here we have a very nice Rocco. This was a cutting I took quite a few years ago. One of the only ones that survived. Has some nice pictures there that have wrapped around the azalea bush. Down there we have a Louisa. It's a complex hybrid. I got it from the Botanical Gardens in 2019, I think. Here we have a Lady Pauline, or Maxima cross Talangensis. This one's very large. It's actually starting to vine. Has a couple basils there. And here's my Maxima Dark. So you can see the coloration compared to the typical form, very different. This one has a few basils on the way. They actually started off very small, which is unusual. Here's a Truncata cross Mira. This is a cutting that should get quite large. It's actually starting to grow, which is nice. This is just an ordinary ventricosa, not much going on with that one. And behind it, we have the St. Pacificus that I got the pollen from. So I believe that's all the plants in the tree. And let's move on to the final section, my Sarracenias and other bog plants. So right here, we have my 2 fly traps. This is the what's called B52 clone. Gets very large, and this is just a typical form. Most of these are actually Sarracenia flavas. This is the Atropurpurea form. Gets a very nice red picture. The Sarracenias aren't looking their best right now because it's the middle of summer. Well, it's really the end of summer, and all the flavas are starting to die off. There is a nice Drosera filiformis in there, and a capensis that is a hitchhiker. I've just noticed there's a very nice Bonata hiding amongst this Flava rubicapora. No real pictures on that one. There's some small ones and a grassweed. Benny, what are you doing? I think he's in the pool area drinking from the water. Not quite sure though. Here we have a Lata red throat cross Flava red tube. Might be the other way around, not quite sure. And there's some other forms of Flava. There's a Maxima, there's a Rubicapora somewhere, there's a Ornata. Here we have one of my bogs. The main plant in this is a Sarracenia Daniel Rudd, which is a complex leucophylla hybrid, one of my favourite Sarracenias. That's a division that started growing out. Very nice pictures on that one, if it will focus. I've also got some Drosera adelae in here that are growing very well in outdoor conditions. Also got some classic capensis, a shark teeth, Venus flytrap, and a typical form. Here we have Sarracenia scarlet bell, which is Psittacina cross leucophylla. There's the main plant behind there, behind this Flava here. Not much else in this bog really. It's mostly just ferns and dead leaves making it look more cluttered. There's just a smaller bog full of Sarracenias and sundews. I don't remember the names exactly. This bog is basically dead. I think the, oh no, it's not dead. Is that? No, it is dead. I thought that was coming out of the Sarracenia, but it's just some grass. It's a tiny bit of life in that fly trap, but I think the heat killed this bog off. Hello, Benny. What are you doing? Coming over to say hello. Well, we're about to move on to the final bog. This is just full of Sarracenia flava. Looks like he's come to sit on the barbecue. Lying down. So this is Flava cuprea. This one's famous for the copper lids. I haven't really coloured up that much this year. In the middle we have a big Regelii, then an Oreophylla, which hasn't done much, and a Rubicapora. So that last bit might have been pretty boring because the Sarracenias aren't doing that well. But I hope you enjoyed this full collection tour. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.